How is solubility a physical property? Let us just consider an example of salt dissolving in water. Salt is a composition of sodium and calcium ions, and water is the composition of hydrogen and water. When a sufficient amount of salt is added, the salt dissolves in water. When some amount of salt is dissolved in water, the mixture of salt water is formed. When sodium and calcium ions are dissolved in water, they are no more ions, but they become aquion of sodium and calcium. So reaction can be written as NaCl plus H2O, Na, H2O, 6, plus Cl. Since there is no reaction taken by the salvation of the salt in the water to form a new chemical compound and the primary characteristic of neither water nor the sodium chloride is changed, thus solubility of salt in water is a physical property. If you boil the mixture of salt water, the water molecule evaporates, and only the salt crystals reside with the same composition. This shows that even after recrystallization, the composition of the salt does not alter. Thus it is evident that the solubility of the substance is the physical change. Is change in solubility a physical property? A solvent lets the solute dissolve in it till it reaches the saturation point. As the saturation point is reached, the solute will reside in its original form in the solvent. To dissolve the remaining solute in the solvent, the temperature is raised so that the solute melts itself in the solvent. After raising the temperature, the solute dissolves in the solvent, thus, the solubility of the solvent is changed. The balance of intermolecular force of the compound determines the solubility of solute in a solvent. Entropy plays vital role in the balance, thus the small variation in the temperature and pressure influences the intermolecular force to lose the balance, causing the change in the solubility. This change in the solubility does not make any difference in the chemical composition of the solute and solvent, thus, a change in the solubility is referred to as the physical property. How is change in solubility a physical property? The solubility of a substance largely influenced by the temperature and pressure. The decrease or increase in the temperature and pressure affect the solubility. The solubility varies with the change in the temperature or pressure. For some substances, the change in the temperature and pressure increases the solubility, whereas for some substances, the temperature and pressure change decreases the solubility. Let us consider the change in the temperature condition. A liter of water has the ability to dissolve 2 kilograms of sugar at a temperature of 20. In this instance, the sugar solution is said to be saturated, which means even if you add more sugar to water, it does not dissolve. In order to dissolve the more sugar in the same solution, the temperature need to be increased. When the temperature is increased by heating, the solubility changes. It has the ability to dissolve more amount of sugar in it. Even though the water gains more ability to dissolve the sugar in it, the chemical property of neither sugar nor water changes. If you recrystallize the solution, the sugar crystal will reside. Suppose a substance is merely soluble in the solvent, means the solute has partial solubility. If the temperature is increased, the substance is completely soluble to form a solution by not changing the chemical properties. Thus, even the solubility change is also physical property, as only the state of the substance changes from solid to liquid or gaseous to liquid. Frequently asked questions. What do you mean by solubility? Solubility is the property of the matter which specifies the amount of solute dissolved in the solvent. Solubility is also defined as the maximum amount of substance dissolved in a solvent at a given temperature. The solubility often specifies the combination of solute and solvent within one another. How solubility of water is physical quantity as, after salvation, the salt is no more a compound. It is true that after salvation, the salt does not remain as a compound, but it is changed into Na+ and Cl ion. Even though there is a chemical process of forming the ion, we consider its physical property. When the salt is dissolved in water, the NaCl separate from each other by forming Na+ and Cl ion, but this transformation is not complete. If you boil the salt water till the water molecule evaporates, you will get the same NaCl compound. As long as the NaCl is in water, they transform their physical dignity, not the chemical property. Is the solubility of liquid in liquid is also a physical property? Solubility is the property of the substance, which refers to the physical change of the substance. The state of the solute is not important to pretend the change in property is physical. In liquid soluble in liquid, the amount of dissolution of liquid solute in solvent liquid is more, and thus the concentration of the solution will be more compared to solid in liquid or gas in the liquid. Other than this property, the liquid in liquid solvation does not make any difference, and hence solubility of liquid in liquid is also a physical quantity. How does the physical property differ from a chemical property? The physical and chemical properties are possessed by a matter that describes the matter, yes, characteristics internally and externally. The chemical property refers to the change in the internal characteristics such as composition, flammability, reactivity with other substance which forms new compound and are most probably irreversible if it undergoes any change, whereas physical property refers to change in color, density, odor, taste which does not undergo any type of chemical reaction to form a new compound. Physical properties are reversible in most cases when it undergoes any change. What are the two classifications of physical property? The physical properties are divided into two types. They are intensive property, the property of the matter which is independent on amount of the substance involved to describe the physical property. Extensive property, the property of the matter depends on the amount of the substance to describe the physical property. What are the factors that influence solubility? For factors mainly influence the solubility of the substances, they are temperature. As the temperature varies, we can observe an increase or decrease in solubility depending on the nature and composition of the solute and solvent. Pressure, the pressure change also influences the solubility of the substance. Polarity, in most cases, the solute of the same polarity as solvent has the maximum possibility of having more solubility. Molecular size, larger the molecular size of the solute than the solvent, it is difficult to dissolve the solute in the solvent, and hence the probability of salvation will be less. Please visit our website lambdageeks.com for more articles on technology, engineering, mathematics, and various other domains. Scientific calculator and many more other tools.